right. So I'm just going to give a few moments to see who is going to jump on live with me. When you do happen to pop on, please just drop me a message, say hello, let me know you're here so that I know who's here. So excited. Opportunities to connect with all you guys. You know I love it. So let's see. Hoping that everybody can hear me and see me here. Okay, so let's see. Oops, I got weird stuff happening. Hang on. So let's see. Cheyenne, Lisa Ann, Beth. Hello, Beth, my dear. It's been a while. Chelsea, nice to see familiar faces. Marie, Tanya, Ellen. Nice to see you, Ellen. Nice to see everybody. And Maria, welcome. I know you're asking for a card. I do not do cards. Well, I mean, I do, but I don't do them anymore for the most part. Hello, Nicole. I'll just, I'm going to wait a few more minutes to see who else is going to jump on, and then I'll kind of give a little bit of a lowdown on how I operate. Nicole, thank you. Am I doing well? I am doing well. It is actually quite a nice night out there. And yeah, I'm excited because on Saturday, I'm taking part. I'm the president of a girls' motorcycle group here in the area, and we're doing a ladies' ride with all the chapters. So there's going to be 30 people or so. So we're pretty excited about. It'll be our first ride together with all the chapters. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Hello, Donna from Freddie. Hello, Tressa. I don't know if I said it right. My apologies if I did not. Hello, Marlene. Good to see you. Aw, thanks, Beth. I feel incredible. You know, I've still been in my spiritual coaching program, and I've been doing the 40-Day Abundance book. I actually just finished reading it as part of my course. And I'm doing a 40-day meditation and using the affirmations in that. So it's really interesting. I'm only on, today was day 3 for me, where we're meditating and doing stuff every day. And just the shift and how you feel, it's just incredible. So I'm really enjoying that as well. So again, for those of you that have been on my lives before, typically what I've been doing recently is having people go live with me and doing draws for it, but I had messages from the people that were going to come and they weren't able to go live. And yeah, so looks like I'm back to old school today. And what that represents is, as I see your messages come up and as you see your names, my guides kind of direct me to people's names for those that really need a message. Okay. So, you know, please don't start throwing a whole bunch of questions up in the comments, because I will just bypass it at the end of the day, because the guides are running the show. As much as it's me, it is very much them. And they are the ones, and Spirit is as well, but they are the ones that know who needs the message the most. And so that's what I go off of as far as that goes. So if I do or get drawn to your name, so please don't kind of go, oh, whoever's hanging around, you know, let me know if there's a specific spirit, so a loved one on the other side you want to connect with. I can connect with animals on the other side. And I have high guides that will answer any type of question that you have, okay? So yeah, it's pretty open as far as that goes. And I'm just checking my list here. I got my little trusty pen and paper beside me here, as they're directing me to people's names. It's nice to see everybody. Let's see, go down my list. Hi, Candy. How are you, my dear? David. Nice to see you, David. Tressa, I know you're saying, you know, first time in. Welcome, welcome. I have a lot of fun. That's the best thing, right? Hi, Shelly. And we got Catherine, Marlene, working my way down. Okay, so actually, the first individual that they're drawing me towards is actually Katie Lanigan. So Katie, let me know if you're here. And in the comments, just go ahead and post if you have a question. So when I say a question, it's your typical psychic stuff, you know, relationship, careers, all types of things like that. You know, the more specific the question, the better I can respond. And like I said, animals on the other side too. Chelsea, I feel like I haven't watched one of your lives in a while, but I've been working a bunch. Yeah, you know what, Chelsea? Before I was doing it every 2 weeks, and right now with summer, I've dropped it back to just once a month right now, and that's just because usually summertime I get busy doing parties and other things. I stay pretty busy in that between the motorcycle club and other things right now. So yeah, so I'm just not doing it as often as I was. So I'm looking for Katie Lanigan. Katie. Okay. I can always see. I'll just throw your question on here. So Katie was saying that I would love to connect with one of my grandfathers. I have 3 that have passed. Do I need to pick one, or will one come forward? You know what? They come forward. I just need a second to be able to do that. And my apologies now if any trolls start jumping on, because I'm not going to jump to Facebook. I'll go through later on, delete the comments and stuff like that, just because I find if I'm jumping back and forth, it's really hard for me to stay in the zone that I need to be in as a semi-conscious trance channel. Okay. So yeah, just bear with me. So Kate, I'm going to hang with you for just a second here. And I take it you guys can all hear me okay. So I get someone who, this one definitely has quite the sense of humor. I get this mischievous little gleam, a lot of laughter. So he feels like he would have been a really fun-loving type of guy. So when we talk about, he makes me feel like he would have been hands-on with the grandkids too, if that's making sense, right? Family would have been very, very important to him. They show me that hands being weathered. So hands being weathered represents someone who's a very, very hard worker as well. Okay. Is this ringing some bells for you here? Not sure whether I'm still, okay. Let me get where I need to go. I've got things highlighted and I think I might have been missing some. Bear with me, guys. They changed my software program here. And for those of you that are just throwing up questions, you know what? The guides direct me to names, okay? So, okay. So if you're throwing your questions in, it's probably just going to go right by me. I'm not going to see it. The guides are the ones who send me or direct me, okay? Okay, sorry, just writing down a name here that they're triggering me to. So I see, Katie, you're saying that does make some sense. Sorry, I'm trying to wade through everybody, trying to put stuff in. Okay. Because he shows me almost like being on the ground and playing, like, so very much a hands-on type of grandfather. Okay. He might have had issues with his heart too, because they're bringing me to the heart. You know, I feel like he had a fairly long lifetime, and I feel illness in his body, but it feels like when he is getting closer to passing, it's like things showing manifesting and then him departing fairly quickly. You understand that? Just waiting. Sometimes the, for me to get the comments back, it's a little bit delayed. So bear with me if there's a few little pause periods in here too, right? And greetings to anyone that I have not welcomed yet this evening, whether you're new or, one of my clients, or, just saw it in the scroll and wanted to jump in. Welcome. Okay. Okay. So I see you're saying one of them passing from all 3 from heart issues, trying to figure out which one. Okay. They brought me to breathing. They brought me to heart. Okay. He would have left fairly quickly. Okay. And I'm not sure if that's helping or not. Let me see if I can narrow it down. So is that bringing me to mom's side? So I don't know if that's grandfather or great grandfather. So obviously there must be some heart issues within that family line too. Does that make some sense? Hey, Sasha. Good to see you, my dear. And I see, Katie, where you're saying that all 3 pass from the heart. Doesn't help much when they're all from that perspective too. Okay, and then I get okay, yes. So I presume the okay, yes is referring to when I said mother's side, and then they show me heart issues. They show me stairs, and stairs always represents going through the generations. Okay. Just this crazy, fun loving guy. Right. Okay. As I say that, what he's telling me is you've been really busy. So I get this go, 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 go. And the guides are showing me too that you have a hard time stilling the mindset, quieting the mind. So it's almost like being in a place of being, I don't say far too serious, because not that you're too serious, but your grandfather seems to be piping in to go, you know what, when are you having fun? It's remembering to have the balance between, if you will, work and play, right? It's really, really important, right, that you take time for self, because they're saying you have time for everyone else. I have time for this. I have time for that, something else. But your own recharge is very, very important too. And he's telling me, as I said, as well as the guides, that that's been a little bit lacking lately. Okay. So that seems to be more one of the reasons why he's coming through, is the reminder to have fun, because he had fun. He'd work hard, very family oriented, but he stopped to enjoy his life as well. Okay. Does that help a little bit, my dear? Hopefully it does. And again, greetings to anyone that I may not have said hello to. Okay. And Katie's saying that she has a 2-year-old and an 8-month-old, and that she's been struggling with self-care. Love that. And that seems to be the gist from him, right? As we know, I mean, we're taught to do unto everybody else, which has its place. But it's also remembering that we have to be part of that equation. And, the old saying goes, we can't help someone else if we're not in a place of being balanced within ourselves. Okay. So he's just telling me being tired and being drawn out, and just, I keep hearing, I don't have time. I don't have time. So your grandfather's like gently scolding, going, make time. Okay. Does that help out a little bit? And so those of you piping in, if you hang in here, as you see the names come up, like I said, I have a little pen and paper here, making names. The guides direct me, okay? So hang in there, because they may direct me to you. And Katie, you are very, very welcome. It just seems like you need to step back, have some fun. And they show me not just for self, but, you talk about having kids, but some family time too, okay? Because they show me the need to just reconnect all the way around. Okay, Katie? And thank you. Perfect. Okay. Hello, Valerie. I got Jenna. So, Tressa, are you still in here? I really hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. And as you guys jump in, let me know. Hello, Carrie. Don't know if that's one of my riding sisters. Could very well be. So I'm working my way down here. So Tressa, they as soon as you popped in shortly after, the guides had me put your name down as well. So, sweetheart, if you have a question that you want to ask something about, or if you would like a connection, please let me know. And again, like where I'm different than a lot of mediums, and that's actually because I'm a channel. If there's someone specific you want to talk to, I can key into that energy and pull them forward, okay? Rather than kind of going over here and over here and over here. That way I can get more, connections for people tonight, because this is my way of giving back to all of you guys, right? This is what I do full time. This is what I love to do, okay? And as I said, it's my way to give back, right? As we receive, we give and receive, two-way street. So don't mind me grabbing a mint here. Okay, so Tressa, okay. Tressa's talking about, wanted to know if you have any messages from your father. So I can do that for you. Just a second. He feels like he left fairly abruptly as well. And am I saying your name correctly? Even if you can just give me a little heads up on that, let me know if I'm doing that. Hob City Bubbos. Awesome. I thought so, Carrie. Woot woot. Couple days. We're getting out riding. And hang in there, Carrie, because they actually directed me to you too before that. So I'm going to go down my list here. Okay, so yeah, Tressed, let me know if I'm Tressas. Tressas? Trying to do as best I can. Hopefully I'm fairly close. If not, Tressa. Okay, so I did have it right. Good. I just don't want to be calling you the wrong name, and that's terrible when someone does that, right? Okay, just give me a second here. As I said, I feel like Dad left fairly abruptly, right? This would not have been Dad's cup of tea either, because I almost get the sense of, I can't believe I'm doing this. So whenever I get that, it represents the fact that they didn't necessarily have a belief in this. Okay. But I do feel illness with him as well. He was always busy. He had a hard time slowing down as well. Okay. So it's hard. I see your message, Trusty, when you're saying your dad was not in your life when he was alive, but you still wanted to know if he has anything to say, that you know he's around. So usually when spirit comes forward, they bring me through the personality to help validate for who that is. So I will go with the other side of that too. Okay. So I don't know how much you know about him or how much you don't, but that was the kind of first stuff that was coming forward on that. And I see your little message here that you were saying that that was true. Like I said, illness being here. So when we talk about not being in your life, just give me one sec. He was not the best at expressing emotion, right? And he's kind of telling me that he wouldn't have been the best father for you. Okay. And this is from his viewpoint. Okay. He had difficulty with stability in his life. Making sense a little bit. Okay. And I don't want to say it's like a cliche, but he says, you know, one of the things she really needs to know is that I loved her. He says, I was never there for her. I didn't know how to be there for her. He says, but it didn't mean that I didn't love her. He says, I just didn't know how to own up to everything. So it's almost like feeling this sense of overwhelm. And I think, as I said, I think he was struggling emotionally. Is that making some sense a little bit for you? It's a heart attack as well. Yeah. So I see you say that he died from a heart attack, and then you say he had troubles with emotion, right? And you know, it's really, really interesting. One of the things I've learned doing this work, you know, from the mediumship perspective, is if spirit shows me that they had issues with emotion in this lifetime, they typically pass from heart issues or they pass from cancer. Those are the two main ones, because when we hold emotion in our body, it actually affects the physical body, and our heart chakra is right here, which correlates back with the heart. And they always told me cancer, because cancer is a disease that eats us from the inside out when we don't release and move through things. Okay. So Tressa, I see that you're saying it definitely makes some sense right now. You said you wanted to ask a question. You said you're dealing with Will. I don't know if he has anything to say about that coming from a family member. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. So I don't know if there's other issues going on there, like in the family or not. And what I hear is everybody had an opinion of him too. So I think sometimes people were not the most gentle in how they talked about him. Okay, so you want to know what about his finances? I know you're talking the will and the finances, because when you first talked about the will and I kicked in, it's like straight face. He's going, I said what I wanted. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty straightforward. So is somebody else kind of trying to step in on that? Just so I can figure that one out. And hello, Gabrielle. And anyone else that I have not welcomed yet this evening. I just want to understand the question that you're kind of asking, Tressa, so that I can get the response of what it is that you need at the end of the day. Okay. So you said your cousin asked you if you wanted anything from his finances, and plus we have another sister too as well. He really didn't like talking about family, eh? Because it's interesting because when I'm keying into him now, it's almost like being tight-lipped, right? And so I don't know when you talk about dealing with his will, whether he kind of willed everything to one individual or what. But when you're asking about it, it's kind of like I made my, I don't say thoughts, but he's kind of saying that was his wishes. That's what he wanted. So if this is the individual that's received the money or whatever that is, right? And they're bringing it forward saying, hey, about sharing it. I don't say go for it, but that's kind of what I'm saying. He's being very tight-lipped about it. And I see your comment here. He said apparently was not really close around his family. And I really get that sense of keeping to himself because he's telling me everybody had an opinion. Everyone had a story. And it's almost like him feeling, I don't want to say necessarily a victim, but it's almost like no one really got me. No one really understood me. Right. So he's kind of going, I don't care where it goes. And to me, that also tells me, I don't think he's passed very long because it still shows me he's holding on to emotion. So he hasn't really done the healing that he needs to complete yet, for his cycle, right. To keep moving forward as well. Right. But he's still coming back to that aspect. Tell her I love her. And, it's almost like, well, what I heard was almost like trying to equate money to love, just because you get, if the money comes forward, he doesn't want to think be coming through like, I didn't really love you, so here you go. Like, does that make sense a little bit? You talk about the wedding or the marriage, and I hear a long time coming. So you must have been with that partner or mate for quite a while. Okay. Does that help a little bit? Just, I know we could keep going and I want to try and make sure that I can get to some other individuals this evening too. And you know what, if there's people on the live tonight that are really looking for a connection, you know what, this is what I do full time. This is what my work. I do other things too, but this is a big part of it. So you know what, drop me a message after, like my page, and I'll be more than happy to set you up with a private session. Doesn't matter where you are. We use Zoom and since COVID, a lot of online calls. No difference for me because I listen to them. I don't have to be in front of the person, if you will. And I see, yes, that makes sense. I don't think he was the type of person that liked money or even cared for it. Yeah, and that's kind of what it gets. It's almost like, I don't care. Okay, so if you're being offered finances, take it. Right? All he's saying to me, he says, I'm happy to see you living your life. So it almost makes me feel at times that there might have been family that was kind of maybe trying to direct you a little bit too. Okay. So he just wants to make sure, but he wants you to be happy. And the other thing you just said is tell her I'm very, very proud of her and then I heard to put up with all the bullshit she put up with. So private for you. He's telling me you'll know what that represents. So did that help a little bit, my dear? Hoping so anyway. So welcome to the new people. I see you guys are trying to throw stuff out. As I see your names come up, my guides direct me to certain individuals. It's not that one person's better than the other, nothing like that, but they know who needs kind of the messages the most. So those are the ones I try and connect for during my lives. Okay. And I do this right now. I do it once a month. When the weather shifts again, it'll probably be every 2 weeks, but for now it's just once a month. And trust, I see, yes, there was family. It's very difficult. I kind of get a little bit on his way of living because I think some of the things that he was doing, I got to as well. Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. Family, sometimes you love them and sometimes you want to bury them in the backyard. Okay. Chelsea, I want to touch on that question that you just put out here, just because I think it's really, it's an important question. And Georgia, Beth, if you're still in here, let me know because I have you up next. Okay. And then Carrie Bubbles, I have you up after her. So Chelsea, when you're saying, how do you heal your heart with the passing of someone so special? And you know what? It's such a good question. Um, I used to struggle with that too. I mean, the end of the day is they're our loved ones, right? The biggest thing is not to suppress the emotion. So the first part of it is being able to go through the grieving process, right? Being able to feel what you need to feel. Okay. For me, it makes it easier. I'm still human, don't get me wrong. We go through the emotions, but then I can step back and go, you know what? I know with all of my heart that there is something more. I know there's something more than this. And I know that my loved ones are always around me. Right. So even though on the human aspect, I'm really missing that connection with somebody, I also know that I can take the time to reach out to them. Right. And I'm not just saying me as a psychic or medium or anything like that, but we all can communicate. You know, if you're sitting there, you're doing your dishes and all of a sudden a memory of a loved one jumps in. Right. Pay attention, especially if it comes out of the blue, because usually those are subtle messages to say, hey, I'm with you. So when I get that type of stuff now, I go, you know what? Thank you. I know you're here. I love you very much. Right. At the end of the day, it takes time. I love to say that everything's just hunky-dory. There you go. You move on. But for me, it's come down to faith. Right. It's created a faith that I believe in there's something else. I believe in source. I believe in God. You know, I believe whatever terminology you want to use, you know, semantics, doesn't matter. There is something greater. And when I key in my spirit on the other side, where someone was here and was say had a disease and in pain, and you know, whether it's emotional or physical, and when I connect in with them on the other side, it's like, you know what, I'm happy, I'm at peace, I'm not in pain. You know what I mean? That helps me to heal as well. I don't know if this is helping a little bit, Chelsea, or not, but I think it's a great question, right? How do we heal? Time, love, patience, talking about them, sharing memories about them, honoring them. You know what? Today you're on my mind. Today I miss you so much. And I just wanted to tell you that I loved you. Everything's energy. Thought is energy. Words are energy. Okay. So remember those types of things. So when you're thinking about your loved one, you know what? That's going to shoot up that energy to whoever it needs to go to. Okay. Yeah. And Michaela saying, I find it hard to know if it's what I think they would say or them. You want to believe so bad. I know when they're around, but doubt myself all the time. And you know what? This is why I tell people there's certain things we can do. I mean, one is just trusting, right? And let's put it this way. And the guides are actually chiming in on this one too. They say, if you get a message and it helps you to feel better, the guides say, does it really matter whether it's real or not? Because it is real, because it's helping you, right? When we're trying to work that intuitive muscle, that logical mind, that logical brain wants to get in there and overanalyze, right? And it's so important. I say step out of the mind, come back to the feel, and the feel is the heart. So when I'm experiencing this, or when I'm seeing this, or feeling that they're there, I come back to the feel. How does it feel? I know they're there. Okay, that's what we trust, right? Sometimes it's symbols, sometimes it's songs, sometimes it's dimes or whatever. I mean, there's so many things that can be representative of spirit, right? But at the end of the day, it's learning to trust here. I don't know if that's helping or not, right? For me, it was beginning to do this work and learning that I had to stop and get out of my own way because my brain wanted to analyze everything. And the guide said, you cannot be this way and do this work. Change. So I had to learn to come back to the heart and trust. It's like me working with clients, right? I can't see the person on the other side right here. I could go, what if I'm wrong? What if it's this? What if it's that? What if it's whatever? And what happens is we kill connections when we do that because it shifts our vibration and puts us into stress mode, right? And so that's where it's really, really important to just be in that moment with that emotion, say, thank you, I love you, and just be in the experience and trust it. Okay. I don't know if that helps a little bit, but I hope that did a little bit. So is Georgia Beth in here, or Carrie, if Bubbles is in here? And don't mind me if I nod to myself. It's the guides are talking to me as well. And Nicola, you were saying you can't force a message. I would agree with that. And sometimes it's hard for spirit to come forward. It's like, in our brains we go, I need to have this big boom right in your face thing so I know it's real. And at the end of the day, usually it's very subtle. I have a feeling, I have a thought, I have whatever, and that's what I listen to now. Yeah, you're right, Michaela. Constantly look for proof, and I've tried just about everything in 4 years. Thought I was losing my mind. I know when it's not my loved ones and someone else's spirits are around, right? And that's just it. When we talk about being a medium, so Carrie, I see you there. Let me know if you have a question, my dear, or if you would like to have a connection, just let me know. As a medium or someone who is intuitive from the spirit perspective, it's almost like I describe it as moss to a flame. So it's like we are this light, we're this light energy, and spirit is attracted because they recognize that the individual can perceive them, right? And it isn't like, oh, it has to be my grandmother or, grandpa, whatever it is. It can be a stranger because they're like, oh, right? They can pay attention to me. Someone can validate me, right? So, Michaela, especially in that perspective, if it bothers you, if you're getting it too much, it's like with anything, right? Friend, family, whatever, set boundaries, right? Boundaries are very important, with what I do. When I go to bed, boundaries. They're not allowed in my room. That's my recharge time. I will make time for you during my meditations or other things, but it's really, really important to set boundaries because otherwise they will not leave you alone. And being firm. It's not like, oh, please go away. No. You know what? Not now. You got to be straight. Just like anyone else, right? So that's kind of, and I love this. I love these questions, you guys. Maybe I'll have to just go on a live sometime and not necessarily give out messages, but let's talk, spiritual subjects. Let's ask the questions. Let's, go through our experiences and share them, right? I think sometimes just having the validation that I'm not crazy, because that was my first thought when I was started to open, is I thought it was going crazy. Being an empath, picking up everybody's stuff, getting sick, things like that. So it's important that we have a safe place we can talk to, right? So I'm trying to work my way down here. So yeah, I guess Georgia isn't here. So yeah, Bubbles, I'm just, if you want to throw up a question or a connection, I would be more than happy to do that for you. So Stacy, good question. You're saying, have I always been able to connect with spirit, or did you have to learn how to channel the energy? You know what? To be honest, I first started as a channel, and I actually started learning using boards. I used to make my own boards. Call them Ouija boards. I don't like that term because it freaks people out. They see it as being a negative thing, but at the end of the day, it's a tool, just like a card, just like anything else. It is in the intent and the use of the tool where things come into play. So I was a channel for over 25 years. Mediumship, I only started doing in probably 2013. Whereas for me, it's been over 30 years now working with the guides. And I wanted to work with guides first because it's like, you know what? I'm a semi-conscious trance channel. So they kind of step inside and use my physical frame. As much as it's me, it's them, depending on to the depth I want to go. So that was... I made the decision if something was coming in here, I wanted to make sure it was what I call a big boy. So I didn't just open to spirit. I didn't want to work with spirit. And I said, you know what? I don't want to wake up someday and have you standing next to my bed the way you died. I set my boundaries, set my intentions. So even now, spirit does not come through to me in that way. When I said, I'm ready to start working with spirit, that was when I had actually the girls from the Loyalist City Paranormal. And I worked as a paranormal, if you will, investigator and psychic for them for, I think, about 5 years. Right? So when you ask and we're ready to step into it, right, the universe will provide. It'll put it in place. That's universal laws 101, right? So I hope that's kind of giving you a bit of stuff. I started channeling, and anyone can learn to channel. It's just patience and practice, right? Okay, so I'm just going to Carrie. Give me just a second. So Carrie, this wouldn't have been his cup of tea either. So back in 2000. Give me just a second here. He liked to talk. he liked to socialize. And as I say that, he's telling me that you're so much like him. So I think with him too, he didn't sugarcoat it. If he had something to say, he said. It wasn't like he was trying to be mean to people. I don't get that, but he was so honest. And sometimes a little too honest for people because they didn't always know how to take him. Right? And what they're showing me, what he's showing me when he said the similarities between him and you, he's whoops, sorry, I hit my computer there. What he's showing me is you are very similar. And what he says is she doesn't put up with bullshit either. Pardon the language, but that's exactly what he's saying. Right? Okay. He was pretty handy too. So if something had to be done, he was right there. Right? Very hands-on. I wouldn't be surprised if he was mechanically inclined too, because I got the sense of liking to tinker with things. So it's more electronic. So it can come back to vehicles or, like I said, just tinkering. Right? But when he talks about the similarities, he shows me you are very similar to that. So what he means by that is you don't put up with crap either. You don't have a problem speaking your mind. Right? Okay, beautiful. He must have liked old cars too, because it's like, I see when you're saying he was a licensed mechanic and had his own garage, there's that tinkering, because he shows me almost like he's making jokes like his hands were never clean. Right? But it was because he was always working, he was always doing things. And he shows me like deep creases in his hands. Right? So again, there's that hard worker. But he would have had it any other way. With the mechanic side, he loved to problem solve. Right? That's what I really get about him. He loved the problem and trying to get to the root of it. And then he shows me to you again. Here's that sense of similarity where you like to figure things out. And if it kind of drives you crazy unless you can fix it. Sometimes we can fix it. Sometimes we can't. So it's learning the balance between the two and when we have to go, okay, that's enough. Was he almost OCD to a degree too? Because it's like this, everything has to be in its place. It makes me feel, for a mechanic shop, it makes me feel like he knew where everything was. Right? Yeah. Give me one sec. So is the anniversary of his death actually coming up within the next 3 months or so? August, September, August, somewhere around there? Because for some reason, it just feels like there's a milestone coming up. Right? Yeah, Nicole, I connect with pets, and they've come through. For those of you that have been on my lives before, they can probably attest that I've brought animals through before too. April, so it was back the other way then. Let's see, passed in April, May, June, July, so pretty close. I wasn't sure which way it was going because he was. It's almost like the time frame was around the time of his passing within 3 months. So that's why I thought I was looking at it this way, but obviously that way. Right. Nicola, hang on, okay? Because they keyed me into as well. Even with your grandfather, Carrie, I get the sense, because what I get is breathing, stop. So that represents a gentle transition, a gentle passing. It tells me that he was ready to go too. And as I say that, it's like the human aspects going, oh, I would never want to go. It's almost like the two going back and forth, right? The essence of the soul and the other, right? But yeah. The stubbornness, as soon as I read that I can be very stubborn, that you miss him very much, he laughed, right? And then I hear, just like your mom. So is that grandfather your mom's father? Because he's actually saying that it's stemming through the lines. Yeah, and we talked about it earlier. When you're missing someone, think about them, call them. Just tell them how much that you love them, because that is sending the energy up to the universe to them, right? I say up to the universe, wherever it is. Really, it's not that far. That's why people see ghosts or spirits floating. Yeah. that help a little bit, Carrie? And girl, I'm looking forward to Saturday and connecting with you guys. It's been too long since we've had some fun. Thank you for letting me bring your grandfather forward as well. He seems like he would have been a really fun type of guy. Okay. Well, he was saying that your mom is stubborn. So I wasn't sure if it was from that lines, but I see you saying that your mom's very stubborn. And that was his comment about you're just like your mom, very stubborn. Right. So I appreciate you popping in. Let's see. And again, greetings to those that I may not have said hello to yet. I do my best to answer my connections. I usually run for about an hour or so. If I'm not able to make that connection you want, if you really need if you really feel like you need to have that connection with someone, you know what? Reach out. Be more than happy to set you up with the reading. And you can probably see my little scroller on the top. You can always check out my website for pricing and what I do and all that fun stuff. And you know what? If you're especially in this area and if you have benefits that cover naturopath, all of my services, I can give you receipts for that. So even my readings too. And Carrie, you are very, very welcome. He seems like he would be a really fun-loving guy. Very, very fun-loving guy. So let me see. Nicola, is it Alsop? I'm not always the best with names. Let me know. Cheryl, I think I may need to come see you soon. Reach out, my dear. I do half-hour sessions and hour sessions. And then, like I said, I go on once a month, and this is my opportunity to provide messages for all of you, right? Nicola, did you want to have a connection or ask a question? Okay. Sorry, I'm nodding because the guides are saying what I heard was unshed tears. So you're still holding on to a lot of emotion as well. So yes, let me know, Nicola, who you would like to connect with. And Donna Marie, I see you putting out a date. You know what, my dear, that means nothing to me. No offense, I don't mean it in a bad way. I don't need any of that stuff. Here from the UK. Beautiful, nice. And welcome. What do you want to ask about, my dear? Okay. Give me just a second here, okay? I'm not sure how long it's been. Let me just throw this up. Well, let me see. There we go. Just so we know who it is that we're talking to, too, for the recordings. You haven't been able to let your mom go yet. Because whenever I hear the term unshed tears, that shows me you're still holding on. So it's almost like there's a part of me that still thinks, like, I know you know she's passed, but it's almost like I'm waiting for that door to open and for her to just come in. And then for some reason, I'm also getting a sense of guilt. And I'm not saying anybody's guilty. That's not what I mean. But it's almost like you feel guilty about a situation to do with your mom. Because I keep getting like, I should have done better. I should have known. I should have this. I should have that. And like all these things that are going through your mind. Right. Sherry, I'll pose that question when I'm done with Nicola here, if you don't mind, if you want to hang on there, because that's a good question too. So yeah, so when I see Nicola, you're saying that she hasn't been passed very long, and as I said, I just get the sense she hasn't been passed long because they show me you holding on to your mom. And that just represents that you have not been able to let her go yet. And when we talk about letting go, that doesn't mean, oh, I'm forgetting about you, I'm leaving you behind. But it's like all this emotion and all this trauma and all this sorrow that it's almost like you feel you have to keep feeling, right? And you know at the end of the day that your mom wouldn't want you to feel like that. Nicola, sometimes I get names and sometimes I don't. Spirit isn't always the most forthright. And actually I was training under my mom's a medium. I can't remember her name. Carmel Joy Baird. Thank you. And I asked her, I said, why is it so hard to get names sometimes? And she said to me, she goes, what's a symbol for a name? right? So in some cases, it might be very easy, but spirit speaks a lot in symbols or feelings. So it isn't always as easy to get a name. This is why we usually typically get the personality or how she passed. But I feel like she hadn't been well for a while because they show me this period of, they show me like up and down and up and down and up and down, right? So her health was always shifting, right? Was she actually found on the floor? Because it's almost like walking across the floor and this dropping, right? Okay. Did they say how she passed, Nicola? Because for some reason they bring me to the brain. So to me, it feels just a very abrupt passing, a very abrupt leaving. Right. Well, one of the messages she's bringing forward is she wants you to be able to, well, bear with me here. Tell her to stop thinking she could have done something about it. So at some level, you think that you could have done something different for her. Okay. She's bringing me to the brain. Do you know if she was having any sort of, what's the word I want? Like a dementia or Alzheimer's or anything? Because she's telling me her brain wasn't right. And I'm not saying that means she's crazy. Okay, please. I want to make that clear. But what she's showing me is like the way the brain is interacting with other organs and stuff. It wasn't firing on all cylinders. I don't know if that's making sense or not. Okay, and some of it may have very well not have been diagnosed yet either. Okay. I'm just, like I said, she shows me the brain, and then they show me what they call brain synapses and the way that impulses move down the nerves. And so if you think about it as a road, she shows me the road was like, it was off kilter. I like that. She was crazy in many ways. Haha. She had a sense of humor. She showed me that the way the brain was interacting with the body, it wasn't functioning. And when I heard undiagnosed, so there might have been some stuff going here, but there was something else going on that, when I hear obviously undiagnosed means it hadn't come to the surface. So I don't know if that's making any sense or not. Well, the brain may not have been the cause of death, but when we talk about the brain firing with other organs, if it's not operating the way it needs to, I mean, that's our oxygen supply, that's our blood supply, like that is it's talking to the organs and how they're supposed to function, because, our whole body can begin to shut down. Right? But there was something with her. She keeps bringing me back to the brain, back to the brain, back to the head. Take care, Carrie. We will see you on Saturday for sure. Hello, Amber, my darling. So I don't know if that's helping Nicola or not. When we talk about mom is more concerned about you going through the healing process, being able to let go, because she says you don't let go. As soon as you made that comment about she was an amazing, big, and loud personality, she laughs. She shows me her being very animated too. So someone who might talk with their hands, you know what I mean? Like larger than life, not just, she would be sitting on the sidelines. Sorry, I heard I was the life of the party, like she's making a joke. But that's that personality. Okay. She could have some colorful languages too, huh? I miss you too, Amber. We're going to have to connect soon, my dear. Amber she was one of my prayer partners from my spiritual coaching program that I've been in since last July. Yeah. You know what, Nicola, when you say, please tell her that I love you that you love and miss her very much. As soon as you do that, you're sending that message out. Whether we say it out loud, whether we say it in our mind, I say again, thoughts and words are energy. Okay. So as soon as we do that, it draws them moths to a flame. Okay. But she, as much as she keeps saying, I need her to heal. I need her to step forward in her life. I need her to find herself. So at some level, you're holding yourself back through that loss. And that's what she doesn't want for you. Okay? Not sure if that helped or not, but I'm going to come back here really quick to Amber. I'll get your question in a second too. Sherry, I'm just trying to find it here. Sherry had a good question too. Unless you want to post it again, Sherry, if you're still in here. Oh, there it is. I found it. I had to go back in my stream here. So Sherry was saying, how do you handle your reaction to your gift when the one time you need to see it or feel it, something, you don't get it? And you know what? When we first started, and I'm not by no means saying you're a beginner either, Sherry, because I know you've walked this path for a while too. But one of the things I found, it only comes with the experience and the practice and doing that you can learn to kind of flick the switch when you need it. Right. So we're all open. We can all receive messages at different times. But it comes from the further development of it where you can go, yep, flicking on the switch. So for me, when I do my sessions or lives, whatever, I don't just like, okay, let's go, let's jump in. For me, I'll spend, 20 minutes to half an hour meditating. I need to get myself into a different zone, a different state, and put my crap over here. Right. Because that's what happens too, is our own ego brain tries to pull in information and it may not always be from the right place because we're not coming from the right place. So when I do my work, I call it grounding, but it's meditation. It's me getting in the other place saying, okay, use me as the vessel. I'm open to receiving it. So Sherry, my condolences, because I believe your father just passed away recently too. And you know what? He was a beautiful man. So sorry for your loss, hun. Take the time to go into meditation with the question or whatever that is, right? So if you're really missing him, and if it's somebody else, if you're looking for a sign, if you're looking for a message, go into meditation with that intent and trust what you get. And it may not be, here's a big epiphany message or sentence in my head. It might just be a feeling. It might be you're there and all of a sudden you just feel tears, or you might feel this love that just encompasses you, right? You said, I've been doing this for about 30 years now. So it's taking me, a lot of times to be able to flick the switch now. Now I'm running half the time wide open, as with the new energy. Right. And I see we have a troll. I will go back and delete the messages after. So my apologies for any of the trolls, or not for the trolls, but for the people having to put up with the trolls. Because they will be banned. They just seem to hack into my stuff. Actually, that one is annoying. Actually, I'll leave it alone because I know we're getting closer to coming to the end here. So has that helped a little bit, Sherry? Sorry if I get by all the spam here. Thank you. Thanks, Melanie. I love what I do. I wish through my program I could just punt them right out. I always look at it, you know what? I would have absolutely no ethics if I jumped up on somebody else's live and promoted myself. And you know what? There are people out there, if that's what they want, fine. But you know what? Most people have ethics and they would not go to someone like that. So yeah, time, patience, and more patience and more patience. When I was learning this with the board, there would be times like, okay, I'm ready. Let's go. It'd be nothing. I'm like, okay, come on. And I want to take it and throw it. But you know what? It's like, you know what? I recognize I'm not in the place I need to be right now. I'm going to put it aside, but you know what? I'm going to come back the next day. So it's that persistence. It's the continuation of the growth, right? Jessica Lynn, how do I stop affecting electronics when I'm angry? Ground down. And if you're sparking out like that, redirect the energy through the earth, right? The earth clears it, right? So that's the best thing that we can be doing. I can't wear a watch because I kill them. Same things, right? It's just the energy. So sometimes it is the way it is. Amber, are you still in here, my dear? I don't know if you had a quick one or not. Grounding's a big one. Ground. Get outside, walk barefoot, go sit on the grass, whatever that is. Visualizing. There's so many different ways to ground. Grounding crystals. Go put your hands in the earth. Do some gardening. Whatever works for you. Try some different things and see which one works the best for you at the end of the day. Did you, Amber, you were asking something about a video? That's if I saw that right. I'm trying to scroll past all my troll, as I lovingly call them. Karma's a bitch. Just kidding. No, I believe, what energy you put out, you create at the end of the day, which is part of the teachings that we've been learning, right? Part of the universal laws and the power to create. Like attracts like. Okay, so what do you want to know about the video? Sorry if that was loud. I accidentally hit my microphone. And again, you know what, you guys, if you'd like to book a private session, give me a message through Facebook. Check out my website. You know what? I do readings. I do Reiki. I do aromatherapy. I'm a clinical hypnotist. I'm working on coaching, doing all sorts of stuff. Okay, one sec. Why do I hear doctored? Because when I ask the question, does it exist? I get yes. But then there's something fishy about it. It almost makes me feel like peace here, peace here, peace here. It's not legit. It's not what it appears to be. When I ask the question, wasn't influenced, I get, and that is an understatement. So somebody's playing in a space or a place that they should not be playing. And then I also hear, so whoever's behind it, I also hear, don't believe a word that they say. So someone's being dishonest as well. So someone's trying to stir the pot. So I don't know what else is going on, but they show me someone's trying to put rifts in place and create obstacles between people. Do you understand that? I'm trying to keep it at a level that you'll know, but yeah, no problem. Trust your gut. Your gut is right. And they say the spidey senses have been tingling for some time now. So yeah, it's crap. And hello, Lynn. Caught me right at the end. I usually run for about an hour. And, I've been in calls and classes with school since about 9 o'clock this morning, and I'm actually teaching two lovely ladies Reiki level 1 tomorrow. So it's a busy, busy time. Not complaining at all. I love helping people. And hello, Lynn Rice. So all you wonderful, lovely, beautiful people, I'm coming to the end of my live for this evening. I want to thank you for coming and hanging out. My next one, I haven't set the date yet, but you know what? If you like and follow on my Facebook page, I will post it. You know what? Normally what I do, for those of you that might be new here, normally what I've been doing is I do a draw on my page and I choose 3 people to come live with me. But I got messages tonight of the 3 that were chosen kind of going, can't make it. And the universe puts things in place. So you know what? If you're interested in coming live with me, at this time, like my page, jump on when I have the post about entering for the draw. And yeah, you guys might have the opportunity to come live and have a bit of a reading. Okay. So much love to you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Check out my website. Right. 1 second. The guides are just saying, we wish to bring forward a message to all that are here. Remember that thoughts and words are energy attachment, and it is so important at this time and in this energy that we are in that you begin to be more aware of the energy that is spilling both from thoughts and from mind. There are so many that are so self-sabotaging within their own minds, and this is something that needs to change. Right? So how many of us can get stuck in our heads and we have negative self-talk? We put ourselves down. I'm not good enough. We try and live up to someone else's expectation. Well, that feeds, a higher consciousness, right? And so the guides are asking us, when we're recognizing that negative self-talk, right? Stop it. Love yourself. Whether it's affirmations or whatever, honor it, but go, okay, is this really true? Right? So if you guys are getting messages from me, free readings, whatever, please report them. Obviously, if I'm here, I'm not sending those messages. And if you look at the name, there will always be something different in the name. Okay. Whether it's a dash or a line or a period or whatever. So if you guys are getting messages, please report them. Send me a Facebook message with the name so I can report them and get them blocked off too. Okay. Because I would hate to see anyone, lose finances or lose, something from someone who's doing this. It's probably the same troll that was in a little while ago. Okay. So much love to you, my darlings, and you have yourself a beautiful rest of your evening and weekend as well. Take care, guys.